Welcome to Student Engagement. In this video, we will provide an overview of thinking of your classroom and instructional practices from the eyes of your students. Let's begin with an analogy. Think of your classroom as a solar system. If that's the case, who is the sun? In our solar system, the planets orbit the sun. The sun is at the center, and the gravity of the sun keeps each of the planets in their orbit. In your own classroom, are you the sun? To figure this out, let's pose some questions. Is the primary voice heard in your classroom yours? As the teacher, are you directing activities for students step by step and providing knowledge they need to be successful? When students ask questions, are you the one answering them? In your classroom, who decides when a lesson or activity is done? If your answers lean towards yes or me, your classroom and environment is likely more teacher-centered. Maybe in your classroom, your students are the sun. Let's ponder a few examples to see if they are the sun. In your classroom, are students encouraged to answer each other's questions, research solutions, and share perspectives or ideas? Can your students repeat an activity or a lesson if they don't understand something, or redo a piece they want to improve upon? Similarly, if students demonstrate mastery, can they move on to the next topic or select a project where they can apply their learning? Are students given a choice in learning activities and modalities in your classroom? If you answered yes to most of these questions, it sounds like your classroom is more focused around students and the lessons revolve around them. It is likely that your classroom is orbiting somewhere between teacher-centered and learner-centered. Sometimes your environment, activities, and lessons revolve around student needs, and sometimes they revolve around your knowledge and need to deliver sound instruction. In order to make your environment more student-centered and increase student engagement, here are 5 easy things you can implement. Create clear classroom expectations. Share them with your students, give them input, and make them visible all year long. Once you set expectations, be consistent in holding students accountable. Allow students to hold one another and you accountable. Take time to get to know your students. Do an interest inventory and ask questions that help you get to know them as a person beyond the student in your classroom. Imagine the real-world connections you can make for students throughout the year when you know what interests them. Use the knowledge you gain to inform project ideas and examples you provide. Make sure that you are not the primary speaker in your classroom. Allow students to share their knowledge with one another and with you. A student-centered classroom is often a noisy classroom, and you may need to adjust your expectations and level of tolerance for noise. While implementing assessments may not seem like a learner-focused strategy, when you implement low-risk formative assessments on a regular basis, you can understand what students know, what they struggle with, who needs enrichment, and who needs remediation. Then you can adjust lessons and activities based on this new information. There are many more things that you can do to move to a more engaging, student-centered environment. Part of this shift is process. Do students need you for everything, or do they have some level of autonomy? Part of the shift is culture. When students step into your classroom, how do they feel about their place in the classroom universe? Are they the center, or are you the center? What matters is not what we teach. It's what they learn. And the probability of real learning is far higher when students have a lot to say about both the content and the process.